Welcome to RStreetech. This is Ritesh Srinivasan. In this video, I'll be explaining about what is an artificial neural network. If you are new here and like such content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Let us look at the different terms over here. So the meaning of word artificial is it is made or produced by human beings rather than occurring naturally, especially as a copy of something natural. Okay, neural is a word relating to a nerve or the nervous system. Network means a group or system of interconnected people or things. Let us look at what is the inspiration for an artificial neural network. So here in this picture you see a single neuron or a cell in the brain. Okay, a neuron has a cell body. It has various branches called as dendrites. Now these dendrites receive messages from other cells. Okay, then you have the axon, which is used for passing message away from the cell body to other neurons, muscles or glands. Okay, so what happens is that a neuron receives various inputs, okay, denoted by x1 to x1 from different other neurons via a connection called as synapse. So synapse is a connection between an axon of a neuron with dendrites of other neurons. Okay, so it receives inputs via a synapse, via the dendrites, and then there is an action potential which happens over here, which is an electrical signal. So the inputs can be also via electric signals, okay, or via neurotransmitters, basically certain chemicals. Okay, so now this is your neuron from which an artificial neuron is actually inspired. Okay, now let us look at the property of neurons. A neuron only fires if its input signal exceeds a certain amount, basically the threshold, in a short time period. Okay. Now the synapses can vary in strength. So the connections between various neurons can vary in strength. So the good connections allow a large signal. Slight connections will allow only a weak signal. Okay. So this is the property of neurons. So now we can create an artificial neuron which looks something like this. Okay. So basically you have a set of inputs x1 to x4 over here. You have a neuron and you have an output y. Now just like how the inputs to a physical neuron, only when it crosses a certain threshold there is an action potential coming. We can have something called as an activation function over here. And we can sum up the various inputs, and then you can apply an activation function to get an output. Okay, to bring in the property of synapses, and since different synapses have different a significance or weight, we can introduce weights over here associated with each input. So this weight denotes actually the strength of this input. Okay, so here you have weights W1 to W4 for each of these inputs X1 to X4, and we also introduce something called as an bias, which has its own weight. Okay, now bias is useful if your inputs are all zero, still the neuron can fire. Okay, there are also other cases where bias will be useful, which I will cover in a later video. Okay, so here what happens is that now what is the output Y? It is the application of an activation function over the sum of all inputs multiplied by their respective weights. Okay, W1, X1 and so on. You add the sum of all these weights and inputs, right? And then you also add the bias weight. Okay, and then you apply the activation function. This is how you get an output of a single neuron. Now let us look at what are the various activation functions which are possible. Okay, so the most simplest activation function is identity function. So identity function is nothing but you sum up all the inputs multiplied by their weights and the bias, and that itself is the output over here. So X, right? and the derivative of this is 1. Why is this derivative important? It is important in an algorithm called as back propagation, when you are trying to propagate the error back for the neural network to learn. Okay. And another activation function could be a binary step. So what is the output y over here? Now if the sum of the weights plus bias, weights into inputs plus bias, if it is less than 0, then the output is 0. If it is greater than 0, then the output is 1. Okay. What is next activation function is something called as logistic, sigmoid or soft step, which is the most common activation function. So here what happens is that your output is nothing but 1 divided by 1 plus e to the power of minus x. So here x is nothing but equal to sum of inputs into weights plus bias. Okay. So now this function has a nice property that your output is in the range of 0 to 1. Okay. And it has a nice derivative function which is f of x into 1 minus f of x. Okay. So this is your logistic or sigmoid activation function. Then you have the tan h or hyperbolic tangent function. So here what happens is that you have this formula, tan h of x is equal to e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x divided by e to the power of x plus e to the power of minus x. Okay. So this gives an output in the range of minus 1 to plus 1. Okay. Here if you look at the figure, so for all values of x which are negative, so this gives a negative value, right? And for all values of x which is positive, it gives in a positive value. Okay. So next you have this ReLU, which is used in deep learning neural networks. So here the activation function is nothing but it is 0 if x is less than 0, and if x is greater than 0, it is x. Okay. So you can say it of max of 0 comma x, right? So this is another activation function. And then you also have something called as a leaky ReLU, where what happens is that if x is less than 0, then you have a small value 0.01 times x, and if it is greater than 0, then it is x. Now these activation functions also requires its own dedicated video, so I will be doing a video later on activation functions as well. Okay, so here we have discussed a couple of activation functions. Okay. Now let us look at what is an artificial neural network. So till now we had seen a single neuron. Okay. Now when you stack such neurons together, it forms a layer of neurons, right? And when you have multiple layers and you are interconnecting them, then it becomes a neural network. Okay. It becomes a network, right? So here we have a set of inputs x1 to x4. You also have a bias, right? This is fed to all the neurons in the layer. Okay, we call this as hidden layer over here. So you have 4 neurons over here. So each of these neurons plus the bias is connected to the 4 neurons. Then it is connected to 2 neurons in an output layer. So basically here we have 4 inputs and 2 outputs, right? So the output layer also has a bias. Now the input weights over here can be represented by a matrix. So the weights of this hidden layer is represented by a matrix which has 5 rows, right? Because we have the bias also, and it has 4 columns, right? Because you have 4 neurons in the hidden layer. Similarly, for the output layer over here, you have a matrix of, you have 4 neurons plus a bias. So the output from each of these neurons, right, is given as input to the output layer. Okay. So you have how many? 4 neurons and a bias over here. So 5, and how many output layer neurons are there? 2. So you have 2 columns. Okay. So what happens over here is that this input x1 is fed to all these neurons. X2 is also same. Similarly x4 and the bias. Now in the first neuron over here, a sum of weights plus bias is done, and an activation function is applied. For example, it could be sigmoid or ReLU. Then an output is generated. This output is then given to the output layer. Similarly, for the other neurons also, output is calculated in the hidden layer and then fed to the output layer, right? Now in the output layer, you can have an activation function like sigmoid or softmax, right, which will give an output for this particular neuron, right? Now, if this output is equal to 1, then you can say that if it's a two-class classification problem, if this output is more than the output of a neuron 2, then we can say that this data belongs to class 1, right? Or if the output of second neuron is more than 1, then you can say that the data belongs to class 2, right? So you can do different things on the outputs obtained from the output layer. Okay, so this is an example of a artificial neural network. So how do you train a neural network, right? So for training a neural network, you would initialize the weights across all the layers. Then you have something called forward propagation, where you feed one input at a time and then you propagate the input through the network. So what I mean by propagating the input through the network is through every layer you would be propagating the input, and every layer's output is fed to the next layer and so on till the output layer. Okay, then you do something called as backward propagation, whereby you propagate errors back through the network to adjust weights layer by layer. Okay, so you will repeat this forward and backward propagation until the weights kind of converge or there are no changes in the weights, right? So this is a very high level overview of how to train a neural network. I'll be doing one more detailed video on forward propagation, backward propagation with examples, so that it will become clear to you on how to train a neural network. Till now we were discussing on theory of a neural network, right? So how does it work practically, or what is a practical example of a neural network? Okay, so suppose you want to do digit classifications. Okay, so you have 0 to 9 basically are your digits, right? So, and you have your input image in the form of 28 cross 28 pixels. For example, here there is an example of an input image 7. Okay, so if you have 28 to 28 pixels, 28 cross 28 pixels, what can be done is that each pixel value can be given as an input to a neural network. So this is a binary image, so each pixel is either a 0 or a 1. So you can give this as an input to a neural network. So the input layer will be what? 784 neurons, which is 28 into 28, okay, which is equal to 784. So in the input layer you have 784 neurons. Okay, in the hidden layer you decide that you have 100 neurons. Okay, in the output layer, since you have 0 to 9 digits, you will have 10 neurons. Okay, so given an input image 7, once this neural network is trained, it should give the output predicted value as digit 7. Now if you give 0 over here, it should predict as 0. If you give 9, it should predict as 9. So this is an example of a digit recognizer. Okay, so you have digits 0 to 9 in this form, which are handwritten. Now you are trying to recognize each of these digits from this input images. So this is an example of a neural network. If you like such video, please like the content, please subscribe to the channel, please press the bell icon so that you will get notified whenever I create a new video. See you in the next video. Bye for now.